In each of these examples, the first thing we need to do is to change each of the equation into slope y-intercept form. So y equals mx plus b, where the m is the slope and the b is our y-intercept. So first thing we need to do is rearrange the letters. The y is on the correct side, so it can stay there. But the 5x needs to come to the other side, so it looks like this. The 5x is a positive. It goes to the other side of the equal sign. It becomes a negative 5x plus 4. And again, it's a positive 4 because the 4 stays there. It's on the same side of the equal sign, so it doesn't change. So we know that m is slope. So if we look at this equation here, there's our slope. We know that b is the y-intercept. If we look at this equation and this part here, the 4 is the y-intercept. Now all we have to do is graph it. The first thing you do when you graph is you figure out which axes you're going to use, and we're going to use the y because that is the y-intercept, meaning where the line touches the y. So we're going to put a point on the 4 because that takes care of that. Now we need to do rise over run, and rise over run is derived from the slope, and right now the slope is 5 or negative 5. So we also know that when there's a number, there's also a number underneath it, and there's always a number 1 underneath. So now all of a sudden we have our rise and we have our run. In this case it's negative 5, so the rise actually goes backwards. It goes down. The rise is, instead of going up like a rise, it's going to go down because it's a negative, and the run is going to go to the right because it's positive. So if we go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's our rise going down, and then our run goes over 1. So then we put our second point here. And then what we have to do, obviously, is we need to make a connection between each of these dots. And I'm going to try to do as best I can with this tablet. For the second equation, what we have to do, it's a little bit more complicated, but it ends up being the same thing. We need to put it into this form. So the easiest way is to arrange all of the letters and integers exactly the way it says up here. The 2y stays where it is because it's on the correct side. The negative 2x comes to the other side of the equal sign, so that becomes a positive 2x. And the 6 stays there because the 6 is on the correct side and it stays positive. Now, just like we were doing before, we need to solve for y because y here does not have a number in front of it, so it needs to be by itself. So we divide all of these numbers by 2. The 2's cancel out, y equals, these 2's cancel out, x, and the 6 over 2, if we divide both the top and bottom by 2, we get y equals x plus 3. So again, very simple. All we have to do is figure out what our slope is and our y-intercept is. In this case, our slope is, there's nothing in front of the x, but we know every time there's a letter, there's always going to be a number in front of it, and the number is 1. So anytime a letter or variable is by itself, there's always a number 1 in front of it. We just don't write it. So our slope is 1, and we also know that when there's a 1 underneath it, and our y-intercept is going to be 3. There's our y-intercept, and there is our slope. So we know the y-intercept is where the line touches the y, so 3. We are going to make our first point down here on 3. And our slope is 1 over 1. So our rise goes 1 up from the 3, and our run goes over 1. And all we do is connect the line.